Hey everyone, this is Nithish, and here I'm going to talk about a lot, a lot of gaps here in our financial markets and how people react to it. So, as CFOs, we can already understand that they spent a lot of hours preparing the earning calls, and engagement is always low, and investor relations barely react to our reports anymore, and it's like we are taking a world into a void. Now, what if I told you that over 47,000 publicly traded companies worldwide are facing the same challenge? Investors are drowning in complex financial reports, and companies are struggling to tell their stories effectively. That's where Callcash comes in. Imagine an AI powered platform that transforms dry technical earnings calls into engaging, digestible content. Video based highlights, AI driven earnings report, and real time investor sentiment tracking. A 2023 Brunswick survey found that 81% of institutional investors made investment decisions based on digital or social media content. The message is clear: traditional earnings calls aren't enough anymore. That's why Callcast integrates AI powered messaging, clarity, and multimedia formats, making investor updates accessible and engaging and future proof. Callcast helps CEOs, CFOs, and the investor relation team craft better investor stories while ensuring full SEC and regulatory compliance. Callcast bridges the gap between the finance and the storytelling, making every earnings call an opportunity, not a mixed connection. Uh, with 47,810 publicly traded companies available globally, standing out in the market isn't just about performance, it's about communication. And Callcast, the future of investor communication starts here. This
Hi everyone, I'm Nithish. I recently completed two master's degrees at Hult International Business School in San Francisco, one in international business and the other in entrepreneurship and innovation. Through that journey, I've been especially interested in the gap between what corporate governance looks like on paper and what actually happens in practice. So today, I want to challenge a common assumption that shareholders control the companies they invest in, because while they technically own them, the reality is often very different. We are going to explore how gaps in investor relations, things like a complex disclosure, low voting turnaround, and selective engagement, shift power towards the management and away from people who fund these companies. Let's start with the foundation of shareholders' power: voting. Retail investors, individuals like you and me, hold about 35% of the public company shares in the US. But the average voting rate for these shareholders is just 30%. Meanwhile, institutional investors vote about 80% of their shares. That's a huge gap. And it's not because the retail investors don't care, it's often rational apathy. Most own small stakes and feel their vote won't matter. And when proxy statements are 90 pages long and full of jargon, they may not even care or know what they're about voting on. But this disengagement doesn't go unnoticed. Companies are aware, and many are quietly adjusting the rules in their favor. And disengagement doesn't just reduce oversight, it creates opportunity. Here's how it plays out: apathy, low turnout rate, weak oversight, and finally, managerial control. Fewer votes means fewer barriers. Companies respond by lowering the quorum requirements, bundling controversial policies into long filings, and passing executive friendly proposals with minimal resistance. When no one is watching or voting, management gets to call the shots. This isn't just theory. Let's look at how it's happening in real life. In 2017, Snap Incorporated issued non-voting shares to the public founders, kept 100% control while taking public capital. Apple's proxy filings grew from 18 pages in 1994 to over 90 by 2014. That's not transparency, it's definitely overload. And it hides important things like their executive pays and other details. And when zero commission trading boomed, millions of new retail investors like you and me joined the market but didn't vote. As a result, firms quietly reduced the number of votes needed to pass the proposals. They are not isolated events, they are signs of growing power imbalance. So now the big players, institution investors, these firms like BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street collectively manage trillions and vote a huge portions of shares in public markets around the world. The problem, they often vote with management. BlackRock supported management decisions 88% of the time in 2023. Vanguard supported just 2% of ESG related shareholder proposals. So even if every retail investor votes no, these giants can override them, and they often do. Sometimes institutions hold management accountable, like when the CEO pay package was rejected. But more often, they want to play it safe, which leaves retail voices further drowned. So, how do we fix this? My understanding is it starts with transforming investor relations, making it inclusive and accessible. Companies need to simplify disclosures, remove jargon, and use plain language. They need to engage retail shareholders on platforms they use most, like social media, video forums, and especially PDFs, not just PDFs. And voting needs to be frictionless. Platforms should integrate this proxy voting as seamlessly as buying a stock. If companies want long term trust and loyalty, they need to treat retail investors not as spectators but as strategic stakeholders. The truth is, retail investors may never have the same influence per share as institutions, but collectively, they have the power to be the conscious of the market. When they are informed, engaged, and heard, corporate governance becomes stronger, more transparent, and more aligned with long term values. So, the question isn't who owns the company, it's are we ready to give shareholders back the voice they were always meant to have? Thank you for your time, guys.